Hello there everybody, my name's John and I drink things on the internet, and today we're going to be having a look at this teeny weeny tiny little bottle of rum. Rums are a little bit like buses on this channel. You wait ages and then two come along at once. Yeah, I've not covered rums on this channel in some time. The most that I've ever done them was a couple of years ago. I did an advent calendar and I wasn't massively happy with how those videos came out because they were just a bit shit. So I'm redoing some of the ones that I did then, and this is one of them. This is Pusser's Blue Label. There's not a great deal of information that I have got on this other than to say that the Blue Label used to be 54 and a bit percent, and it was cut all the way down to 40%. The main reason being to allow it to be distributed to naval bases, because 40% ABV is apparently the maximum that they will allow. So no cask strength whiskies or absinthe or anything of that ilk. Well, you can still have absinthe, just shit absinthe. So we're going to dive into this, and now what we're going to do with this is that rums, more often than not, are mixed with something, be it Coke, lemonade, soda, pineapple juice, whatever. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to treat it as if it were a whiskey, because a lot of people do sip their rums. I thoroughly encourage you to do that, because rums deserve a bit more respect than I think they get sometimes. And I am guilty of casting an eye over them from time to time and sort of ignoring them in favour of other things like whiskies and gins and beers. So this is a bit of my effort to try and rectify that. Incidentally, if you do have any other rums that you think I should try, let me know down below and I will try and seek them out, because I do actually like a rum, believe it or not. So let's dive in. So let's chuck this in here. There's no age statement on this either. In fact, there wasn't many details that I could discern at all. I'm just going to pour a little bit. The rum in the glass, sort of a deep amber colour. I'm not going to do legs or anything like that. Ooh, super peppery. Like fresh cracked black pepper. A little bit like dried sage in there as well. What is that? Do you know, you're going to think I'm weird, and I am, but there's something of freshly cooked turkey. I've nosed that a few times, being like, no, don't be silly, but yeah, kind of. This is how you can tell that I don't just read off tasting and nosing notes off of the internet, because who is ever going to put that as a note? But do you know what? It's as I call it, and it's what I'm finding, and it's bizarre. Is this going to taste like Christmas dinner? Who knows? Let's find out. Oh, that's delightful. Yes. Barley sugar, like, ramped up to 11. It's quite sweet. In fact, it's very sweet, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a bit of sweetness every now and then. There's a big caramel note, but normally when I talk about caramel, I mean when you're, you know, making caramel on the stove. With this one, it's the kind of caramel that, you know, you get like a Dairy Milk caramel or Galaxy caramel. It's like that runny, weird kind of caramel that you only find in the middle of a chocolate bar. Whisper Gold as well, I suppose. It's that kind of a caramel. There's sort of a buttery, over-the-top sugariness about it. Yeah, man. It's dancing through a sweet shop. That's all it is. A little bit of icing sugar in there. Like the plain white caramel bonbons as well. It's variations on the theme of sugar, for want of a better way of putting it. It's not overly complicated as, like, tasting notes go. It's sweet. There's a little bit of, like, a glacé ginger in the back. Right, I'm going to add a bit of water to this, because that's what I do with my sipping liquor. Don't think it really needs much, to be honest, because it's already very easy to drink because of how sweet it is. Opening up a bit, the turkey's gone. I think there's just something wrong with my nose. It's gone a bit more mentholy, a little more sort of like spearminty. I think I've like gentian root in there as well. Not something that I pick up very often, but it's there. Okay, but what's it like with a bit of water on the palate? Yeah, it's just kind of thinned it out a little bit. We've had this before with like whiskies and things where it doesn't help it, it just kind of stretches it. It's done a similar thing with this. It's still sweet, it's just diluted it. That's all it's done to it. It's not opened it up, it's not brought a new characteristic or a new flavour to the table, it's just stretched it. That's all it's done. If maybe, you know, you're a starter drinker and it's maybe like a little bit heavy for you, adding a bit of water will not do you any harm to it. You'll get basically the same flavours that you got before, just a little bit sort of washed out. Perfectly fine having it at 40%, and it's not going to do you any harm. It's going to benefit. They do this recipe as well as a gunpowder, 57% one, which is what the old Blue Label was. So they do still do it. They just kind of took the badge off and then put a new badge on the other one. Not quite sure why they did that, really. Why didn't they just make a Navy strength label? Wouldn't that make more sense? I don't know. Again, I'm not a marketing person, but you'd think rather than... Yeah, that's just confusing. Why did they do that? That's weird. I'm intrigued to get the 57% one and do a side-by-side comparison, because I like doing those these days. And apparently they're popular on the YouTubes. And maybe the TikTok... I'm not fucking doing it, and that's not happening. No, I've seen some of the things that have come out of TikTok, and I officially am too old to understand the kids. And that's not a bad thing. Get off my lawn. Right, well, that was a rum. Again, let me know down below your suggestions for trying other rums. There's probably a few that I've tried already, but I'll happily bring them to the channel because I like me some rum. Thumb the video if you enjoyed it, because it helps with metrics and all that nonsense. God, what a world we live in. And also, if you haven't subscribed and you like what you see, do consider subscribing, because I pull these kind of shenanigans quite a bit, and I try and keep them fast and loose, and I like to hear from people as well. Ring the bell as well, and you get updates on when I'm next pulling this nonsense. And until next time, thank you very much for watching, and do join me next time when we'll be drinking something else.